I like that one. It's fantastic. Welcome to KO Bets. What's up, YouTube? My name is Bill. We've got it is what it is. We got a job to do. We got picks to submit for tomorrow's UFC Fight Night. We got Santos versus Hill to review. We can go over the fights last week if we want to do that. Moneyline picks. I could have done a better job. I took a lot of underdogs, took a lot of risks. I did post some really solid picks on Twitter. If you don't already, look in the video description. There should be my Twitter handle there. I'll always try and tweet out my picks ahead of time. During the first portion of the fights, I was watching Shakespeare in the Park, The Tempest. Couldn't really see much or hear it. Also, it's in English, but the vernacular is different. There's a word douth, like douth one, just like douth one want a sip of old fashioned. Like, just it was fun. It was a great time. The picnic aspect of it, very fun, very fun. But I had my phone out and I was watching the fights during the Tempest, so. But it was nice to hang out with family and just be out there on a beautiful evening on the Fox River. If you're tuning in for the channel for the NFT giveaway, I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is we're almost there. The bad news is we're not there yet. I lowered the threshold. We're going to do a giveaway at 50 subscribers. So once we hit 50, I'll give away my first UFC strike moment. Then we'll do another one at 100. And then we'll just kind of keep doubling it. That's what we'll do, and so it's easy to keep track of, and we'll just see how I want to give back, and it's not much, but give back and support those who support the channel. That's the whole purpose of it. So I appreciate you tuning in. If you wouldn't mind, like the video. Helps with the algorithm, whatever the fuck that is. I got a bit of a interesting setup going on right now. I've never done this before. We're going to do a quick product review. I had this ring light and it worked great for like 48 videos, and now it doesn't work anymore. So it's the L8 Star, and I bought a different one from Amazon. And Amazon, I wouldn't have ordered this shit from you if there was going to be a delay in shipping. I ordered it on, I think, Monday, when I figured out this thing was broken, and it was supposed to be there the next day. It's still not there. What gives? I've got a subscriber right now, so you lost one customer when it comes to ring lights. You might have lost another. All right. So we'll do we went over the NFT giveaway last week. We talked about a little bit. Nunes looked great. I wasn't expecting that. I was kind of expecting, as the fight went on, Pena would wear on her. But Nunes did a really good job of mixing up her attacks. Was dropping her early in the fight, and then was getting takedowns late in the fight. It was a really, really impressive performance. Car France, he was looking good, and then just got clipped in the liver. I'm sure it was a liver shot. Went down from that body kick from Moreno. And then there were some other dogs we picked that just didn't pan out, but we made some really good picks as well, and I would encourage you to just go back and look at my Twitter. We've got a UFC card to review. We should probably get into that, and then we'll go over trending topics and just see where the show takes us. Get in some trouble. View some interesting tweets that are out there. Let's get into the fights. UFC Fight Night, Santos vs. Hill, Saturday, August 6th, taking place at the UFC Apex Arena in Las Vegas. First fight of the night's a doozy. Myra Buena Silva taking on Stephanie Edgar. Myra Buena Silva, she's coming into this fight on a one-fight win streak. She's 3-2-1 in the UFC. You'll see by the numbers here, 70% takedown defense. She does have a little bit of jiu-jitsu in her pocket. She'll probably have a stand-up advantage. But Stephanie Egger had a great performance her last fight. She's on a 2-fight win streak. She beat Jessica Rose Clark. I think in this fight she's probably going to want to grapple with Myra Buena Silva. Just keep top control, stay safe. And, I think that should work out for her. I'm going to go with Stephanie Egger on the money line. It is a close fight. I'm probably not going to wager anything on this. I think Myra Buena Silva is going to look really good in the stand-up game, and then maybe when it goes to the mat, it'll swing a little bit in Stephanie Egger's favor. And she could possibly, stop the fight from there. Stephanie Egger is the favorite at -120. I do think it is basically a pick'em fight. Just depends on where the fight plays out. Vegas likes it to go the distance. I was curious about that. I could see a possible submission occurring in this fight. We've got the decision as the most likely outcome according to the odds for this fight, and I would have to agree. If we're looking at the numbers for these two fighters, see what their losses look like. Myra Buena Silva, 2 decision losses. Stephanie Egger, 2 decision losses. That's pretty good, but 6 out of Stephanie Egger's wins have come inside the distance. And 6 out of 8 of Myra Buena Silva's come inside the distance. Good fight to avoid, but for the purpose of this show, and because I think she had an impressive last performance, I'm going to go with Stephanie Egger. I'm going to go with her. Money line. Probably not going to bet. I don't even know if I'm going to throw her in the round robin, to be honest. Next fight, we've got Corey McKenna taking on Miranda Granger. Corey McKenna is coming into this fight on a 1-fight losing streak. She lost a split decision to Elise Reed. Good grappler. Really pushes a relentless pace forward. Wants to go for a lot of takedowns. Probably should take down Miranda Granger in this fight. I think she's going to hold a huge advantage over Miranda Granger on the ground. Miranda Granger, she's coming into this fight on a 2-fight losing streak. Her only win was against Hannah Goldie, and that was, I think, in both of their debuts. But Hannah Goldie's just not that good. We just saw her lose to Meatball, and she just hasn't been good in the UFC. I think she does have 1 win. She might be like 1-4 or 1-5 or something. She's also on a 2-year layoff. She's coming off a 2-year layoff. Hasn't fought in a while. Let's see when that last fight took place. Yeah, it was November 14th, 2020. So not quite 2 years. And she's coming off of 2 losses. But yeah, it's just like those 2 losses. One was against Amanda Lemos back in 2019, which is understandable, but I'm going to roll with Corey McKenna in this. I think she gets it to the mat. I think she puts a lot of pressure on Miranda Granger. Potentially finishes this one via submission. Odds makers, I'm going to guess they like it to go the distance. Yeah, -255. Oh, Corey McKenna is the favorite at -195. I feel more confident in the Corey McKenna pick than Stephanie Egger. But if McKenna's not able to score takedowns against Miranda Granger, like it could maybe not look good for her. But Granger doesn't have good takedown defense, or at least she hasn't displayed that yet in the promotion. I know she's, probably a different level than McKenna, but Lemos was able to get a round 1 submission against her. So I'm going to go with Corey McKenna. If we wanted to improve our odds a little bit from -195, I would say we could probably eliminate that KO. But honestly, it's not a fight that I would, like, I'm not like Corey McKenna's a lock in this, We haven't seen Granger in a while. I am confident Corey McKenna's going to win enough to put her in, like, round robins, but probably I'm not going to include her in parlays. Just don't like that too much. And then if we're looking at the double method of victory submission decision, it's -190. So we're only getting, 0.005 percentage point X. So it's not, or not, you know what I mean, 0.5 or percentage. Not good. It's not good. So probably just going with the money line bet in a round robin with Corey McKenna at -195. Next fight, we've got Jason Witt, the Vanilla Gorilla. That's funny. That's my nickname. Taking on Josh Bushido Quinlan. Jason Witt, I think he's 2-3 in the UFC. No, he's 3-3 in the UFC. He's on a 1-fight losing streak. All 3 of those losses, though, have been KOs, and that's a little bit startling. It's, he's clearly got the better experience heading into this fight, but Josh Quinlan, if you look at how he kind of has won his fights, they're all finishes, decent footwork that sets up a lot of shots. He's able to hit guys, move while they're covering, and set up really clean power shots, especially on the Contender Series. So I don't know. He's new. Like, it's not something you want to hang, in my opinion, a lot of money on. It's crazy he's a -245 favorite, but on the money line, I'm going with Josh Quinlan. The only reason I say it's kind of crazy is just because of the experience that Jason Witt's bringing into the octagon. But like I said, just like, he's been okay thus far in the UFC. It's not been anything spectacular, in my opinion, thus far, and he's been getting knocked out. I think he's going to want to grapple in this fight. If Jason Witt's going to win, he's got to come with that, like, grappling approach where he's just wearing down his opponent, not giving Quinlan room to operate on the feet. Quinlan also does have some submission wins. I think he has 2 submission wins under his resume. Yeah, 2 submission wins, 5 KO wins. So I don't think this fight's going to go the distance. I would say it's the Quinlan KO just because we've seen Witt get KO'd recently. The Quinlan KO right now is +110. That's with the odds makers' favor. It fucking sucks. Some of these parlays are sometimes interesting. Is that what I'm under? No, I did round props. Fight parlays. Here we go. Like Quinlan. You only get under 1.5. I probably wouldn't chase that. I might do the Quinlan KO on like a round robin at +110. I like that a little bit. Hey Ryan, thanks for tuning in. I kind of like Quinlan, and I get why people would pick Jason Witt. He does have good experience, and we've seen it before. Like, the new guys come into the fight, the UFC, and they just kind of get taught a lesson in how to win a fight, whether that's control time or just really throwing them off their game plan. Like Josh Quinlan, I'm actually curious. Okay, so he does have late finishes, like 2 round 3 finishes, 1 round 2 finish. But like, if he's just searching for that one shot and Jason Witt's got a frustrating game plan, like he could make it look good for himself. So I like the plus 110 odds for the KO, but we'll see. Maybe the safer bet. I don't know if Jason Witt's going to be able to put him away. Jason Witt, record-wise, here, I'll go back to that screen. Jason Witt, 8 submission wins, 3 KO wins, 7 decisions. He's 7-0 in decisions. All of his losses, it's like they're knockouts. So, I don't know. I just think it's interesting. There's a path for Jason Witt to win. I just don't think he's going to do it. The next fight we got is Bryan Battle taking on Takashi Sato. Pooh Bear's he's weird, man. He's an interesting fighter. It was kind of a weird approach, I thought, against Tresean Gore, what he took last fight. Just like volume striking from the outside, leg kicking. But came in with a really good game plan that was frustrating. And Tresean Gore, he's just got to figure out how to increase his output, in my opinion. Very confident, but I picked against Bryan Battle, and Bryan Battle made him look really bad. He's taking on Takashi Sato. Takashi Sato is going to have a stand-up advantage. Bryan Battle is going to have the grappling advantage. So I think it's like going to come down to who's ever able to impose their will a little bit more. I don't think Bryan Battle, he's been hit before. I don't think I think Tresean might have even knocked him down, and he said it didn't hurt or whatever. It's fine, but he got knocked down. I think Takashi Sato is going to have the better hands. Bryan Battle is going to have the wrestling. Takashi just doesn't have good takedown defense, does he? It says it's 60% takedown defense. He could for sure use his experience in this to win the fight. And I'm kind of back and forth on this because I just don't think Bryan Battle's like that great. And if he doesn't wrestle in this fight, if he tries to play this fight like point strike like he did with Tresean Gore, he's gonna lose. That's my opinion. He's gonna lose to Takashi Sato. But Bryan Battle's a huge favorite at minus 295. I just can't hang that money on Bryan Battle on the money line. So for that, I mean, I think Bryan Battle maybe wins this fight 6 out of 10 times if he takes a good game plan and he's wrestling the whole time. If he doesn't come in with a good game plan, he probably loses it, 8 out of 10 times. So I'm going to roll with Takashi Sato on the money line. He's going to be our first underdog pick of the night at plus 245. How is he going to do it? Bryan Battle, he does have one loss professionally in his career. That was a submission loss. That was an armbar loss. Takashi Sato, 11 KO wins. I think I'm basically looking... I mean, I don't know if we can... Bryan Battle, great cardio. He has great cardio, and he used that against Tresean Gore. Great cardio. I don't know if Takashi Sato can put him away because of that cardio. It's like the guys with crazy cardio, they're just tough to put away. Their reaction times are just a little bit better in the late rounds. They're able to hit, see shots come in, stay upright. And he's plus 400 for the KO. He's plus 650 for the decision. I kind of think stupid to chase both of those, but I kind of favor the decision just because of the gas tank of Bryan Battle. I think he almost just gets kind of beat up for 3 rounds, at least 2 out of 3 rounds on the feet. If he's able to get takedowns on a consistent basis, I think Bryan Battle can win this fight. Fight props, I think there might be a little value on this to go the distance at minus 120. I don't think Bryan Battle's gonna, I guess he could submit Takashi Sato. I don't think he will. He's got 4 submission wins in his career. No, he could. And how many losses does Takashi have via submission? 3 submission losses. Well, if I'm rolling with Takashi Sato, I kind of think it's going to go the distance. I kind of think Bryan Battle lasts the full 3 rounds because of the cardio. So maybe I'm doing this yes in the round robin at minus 120. That it does go the distance. And then maybe just like sprinkling a little money on the plus 240 whatever money. I don't think that's a bad approach. Next fight, we've got Terence McKinney taking on Eric Gonzalez. Terence McKinney, my shit's a little mixed up. He's on a 1-fight losing streak. He just lost to Drew Dober in the first round, got knocked out, but he also had Drew Dober hurt in that fight. He's a fun fighter. I think all 12 of his wins have come inside the distance. Yeah, 5 KO victories, 7 submission victories. He's been good in the UFC. Made his debut against Frivola, first round KO, DM, rear naked choke. You gotta like him on the money line in this fight against the Ghost Pepper, Eric Gonzalez. Eric Gonzalez, he comes into this fight 0-1 in the UFC, got knocked out by Jim Miller. Yeah, I just think he's probably going to get finished by Terence McKinney, so I would say Terence McKinney and something inside the distance. The odds are absolutely insane. You can't bet minus 850 on Terence McKinney. That being said, because all of his wins have come inside the distance, I do kind of feel comfortable throwing the KO submission minus 400 into a round robin or parlay. I don't know what I'll do. I'm sure the odds makers don't like this one to go the distance. Yeah, minus 650, and that's all because of Terence McKinney here. So the decision's plus 550 for him. I mean, I guess it's possible Eric Gonzalez catches him with something, but Terence, he had Drew Dober hurt in his last fight, and he just kind of tired out trying to put him away. So hopefully he just takes a more calculated approach. Hopefully he just like goes in there and knocks him out in the first round. Yeah, he's a decent fighter. He has a lot of good tools. But yeah, we'll go with him on the money line, but probably as far as like betting money, we'll keep this option open just to see if I want to throw it in any parlays. It's always like, you know, it's going to happen, right? He's going to get some sort of finish, but like, it's always scary to me throwing those in parlays. I don't know what it is. We've got Sam Alvey, Smiling Sam Alvey. How the hell is he still in the UFC? Fighting Michael Oleskijuk. Probably butchered that. But Sam Alvey, I like Sam Alvey a lot. I think he's been in a lot of entertaining fights, but he's just getting like beat in those fights. I think he might be on like an 8-fight losing streak. So it's just kind of, the last couple times, it's just been kind of crazy given his age and everything like that. He's still fighting. It seemed like he had a tough time with the weight cut. Weighed in at 206, I believe. But was like celebrating on the scale for his weigh-in. So, I mean, I do like Sam Alvey a lot. I think he's like a relatively normal dude, minus the fact that he's not normal. He cuts a smiley face into the back of his head. There's something up with him, but there's something likable about it. Even though, like, he hasn't won in 8 consecutive fights. good stand-up. Like, if he was good at anything, we'd have to say he's good at boxing. But he's taking on Michael, who you can't lose to Sam Alvey, Michael. You're heading into this fight. You're a heavy favorite, minus 600. I think the only question is can he finish Sam Alvey? I'm going to say the odds makers have Sam Alvey getting knocked out, but let's see, under fight props here. Minus 175. Yeah, I mean, you got to go with Michael on the money line in this, but again, those odds are kind of brutal. And yeah, the KO's favored it. What's the KO and decision? Winning method, minus 500. A little better. So if we're parlaying those two together, like instead of, like, let's say, instead of betting, you know, respectively $10. The fuck is it? And $10 to win a total of $450 back. We could just put our $10 here. Oh, not there. Here on the parlay, and we could make $5. So, not a bad thing. Not a bad thing to spend less, make more. You know what I'm saying? You're risking $20 to win 3, or you could risk $10, win 5. What you perceive to be extremely likely outcomes. Next fight, just a couple of heavy favorite matchups. Oh yeah, so we're on to the main card. I wanted to circle back to this. I gave my review of the light. This is what I'm working with. Like, this is a beauty mirror used to apply makeup, and I'm just using it for my show right now. That's who I asked for picks. So I said, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's gonna win this fight? And Michael, whatever his last name is, he popped up in the screen. So that's how I make my picks. Next fight, we've got Ariana Lipsky taking on Priscilla Cachoeira. Zombie girl. Absolutely brutal approach to fighting. Like, look at this. Over a 3 fight, so she's like taking 3 strikes in the face for every. You get what I'm saying? It's almost two strikes in the face for whatever she's dishing out. So she's just taking a lot of damage in her fights, and she's taking on Ariana Lipsky, who I think can win easily 1 round, right? So she's going to be up 1-0. I think she can win 2 rounds. And I think from there, it's just about surviving in the 3rd round. So I'm rolling with Ariana Lipsky on the money line. You know, being someone who takes a lot of damage, it's just not an approach unless you're in there against someone who primarily finishes fights early. And just isn't prepared to go the distance with the gas tank. Lipsky 5-4 in decisions. Cachoeira is 5-2 in decisions. You know, you gotta like the output of Priscilla in this fight. I think I'm rolling with Lipsky though, just because I think she'll for sure. It's like a given she's gonna win 1 round, right? Round 1, and then it's like I could see her winning round 2. And then, I could see her winning round 3 as well, just because of the damage that Priscilla Cachoeira takes. So I just think the smart bet is to go with Ariana Lipsky. Priscilla it's fun or whatever. You can, she's getting the shit beat out of her, and then she, has a great, late fight performance, but and she is tough, right? She's gonna punch hard, but I just think Lipsky's gonna be the walk away from this fight with less damage, and I don't think that's unreasonable to say when it comes to Priscilla's fights. Lipsky minus 180. Fight props, the Vegas does like this to go the distance. I would tend to agree, just because of the durability of Priscilla. We've got the decision here at plus 140. I don't think Lipsky's putting away Priscilla. Priscilla, 4 losses, 2 submission losses, 2 decision losses. Lipsky, her wins, 6 KO wins, 3 submission wins, 5 decision wins. Yeah, I think it just comes down to, like, she's just got to have some fuel left in the tank when this fight goes late, so she can run away from this crazy Priscilla girl who's probably going to absorb like 120 punches to the head and still be pushing forward like a maniac late in the fight. Next fight, we've got Augusto Sakai taking on Sergey Spivak. I mean, I don't know, to be honest, when it comes to Augusto Sakai. Top 15 in the heavyweight division. I think this is Sergey's opportunity. He's going to come in here. He's going to take the win. Augusto Sakai just has struggled when he got into like the top 10 talent in this division, which is understandable. You gotta, he struggled against like Overeem, Tai Tuivasa, Jairzinho Rosenstrike. So like really, really, good knockout power from those guys. He's taking on Sergey Spivak, who I think has a different game. He's going to be more of a grappling threat than any of those opponents. So if Augusto Sakai can keep this fight standing, he might look okay. I just don't think he's going to. I think Sergey Spivak's going to be able to take him down, probably ground and pound him. If he's not able to put him away, with the ground and pound, he might do it with a submission. I'm liking Sergey Spivak a lot in this fight. I think I like the finish too. I don't think I can definitively say he's been knocked out 3 times in a row, Augusto Sakai, but those were against different types of fighters in different ways, right? More of that striking knockout, not so much the ground and pound. I love Sergey Spivak in this fight, but he's minus 305. Let's just check the odds. They don't like it to go the distance. I think that's reasonable. I would say Sergey Spivak to win via KO or submission at minus 20. That's not bad. That's not a bad improvement over minus 305. Sakai, 4 losses, 3 KO losses, 1 decision loss, 0 submission losses. So, I mean, and he's had some decent wins. Marcin Tybura beat him. He's definitely more of the he's an interesting fighter. Lugoy Ivanov beat him. Oh, this dude looks fat. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Sergey Spivak. I don't think Sakai can do this. I would throw the Sergey Spivak money line. I'll probably have that in some parlays at minus 305. See if I can improve it a little bit. Terence McKinney here again, minus 208. Probably a similar story here. I could bet $20 and get back a little over 440, or I could bet, on the parlay, I could bet just $10 and you're getting like 50 cents more for the bet and risking less. So I just think if you're confident like a certain fighter is gonna win, like, I don't know, why not just parlay them together? Like, be smart, try and make some money, try not to lose. Most importantly, like, I think sometimes the allure with gambling is you're trying to, you're plugging in numbers, you're testing different outcomes, and you see like, holy shit, if I get these 6 fights right, I could win, life-changing money. And don't get me wrong, I placed the 12 fight parlays and bet $1 to $5 on them, and I never win them. I think I had one perfect card that I bet on, and even that one, I don't think I got the 12 or 13 fight parlay right, just because I didn't do all money line, right? I'm mixing it up. I'm doing some I'm doing some finishes, some decisions, just to improve my odds a little bit. So, and yeah, it was like, it was probably only a couple bucks or whatever, but yeah, it would have been like life-changing money, and that's the allure of doing it. But it's just kind of silly to do. So it's like, assess your risk, don't lose. That's the most important thing, right? Don't lose. So tonight I had a PFL bet going, $100 parlay on 3 different fighters. Pettis was the last fighter to go. I won 2 of them. Just cashed out at 178. Put a $50 bet down on Pettis. It'll, that way, worst case scenario, you're walking away with like $28, right? Just don't lose. That's the approach we want to take with gambling. Brogden Walker taking on Juliana Miller. Brogden Walker's making her debut in the UFC. For sure the more experienced fighter with the 10 total fights as opposed to 4. Juliana Miller is this is our first Ultimate Fighter matchup of the night. We've got the Ultimate Fighter finale and a couple of good fights for the main event. So Brogden Walker, Juliana Miller. Miller's the slight favorite at -120. Definitely brings a jiu-jitsu, brings better jiu-jitsu to the table. She's got 2 submission wins in the first round. Those are both of her victories. I think it comes down to, like, is she able to take Brogden Walker down? If she is, like, she'll probably put this fight away. If she isn't, Brogden Walker's probably going to beat her ass. I don't think I think the experience is going to play a factor in it. I don't think, they're both relatively unexperienced. I think this reminds me a little bit of Brian Battle against Tresean Gore. For different reasons, obviously, but Juliana Miller with that 100% submission success. Brogden Walker, she's not bad at grappling either. She's good at defending takedowns. I'm banking on her keeping this one on the feet, winning on the feet, winning the decision. I think she frustrates Miller, keeps it standing. I'm going to go with Brogden Walker, who is the light underdog in this matchup. Did I pass? Here we go. Brogden Walker, slight underdog at +105 in this matchup. I would guess the odds makers like... No, wait. If you have Juliana Miller winning, you wouldn't like this going the distance. So maybe at +30, 230, there is some value, right? Because the favorite in this fight is a submission artist, and maybe that's the intelligent bet, right? Because she's won all 3 of her fights inside the distance, so maybe that's... And she could submit Brogden Walker if she's able to get her down. I just don't think she's going to be able to. So I think the odds are a little bit interesting. I think maybe there's an opportunity here as we're looking. Brogden Walker, shit, plus 130 only on the decision. And then the submission is plus 500. Juliana. Like, if we don't think Juliana Miller's going to get the submission, do we think she can win a decision? I'm not so sure. Hey, Bobby Lewis, are you in the comments? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? I know you're a tough fan. It just seems kind of... The odds seem kind of weird on this. Like, there might be an opportunity somewhere. Either on that inside the distance or the submission victory for Juliana Miller. Especially considering she's the favorite. Like, she got 3 submission wins. 3 victories total professionally. Like, so doesn't it just make sense that she would submit her opponent? What are Brogden Walker's losses? Let's check them out. 2 decision losses. Lost to Erin Blanchfield. Lost to Pearl Gonzalez. Both decisions. Holy sh... Okay, so she had a submission win against Emily King. Man, I kind of think there might be some value on inside the distance at plus 230. What's Juliana Miller's loss? It was a decision as well against Claire Guthrie. 3-round decision. I don't know. I kind of, for sure, not a fight I'm really betting on. I wish I could nail down some sort of prediction as far as do I think this, you know, that I was very confident in as far as is this one going to go the distance or not, because I think there might be value on no here. I don't know. Just brainstorming. Probably a good idea to not spend a lot of money on this. Next fight, we've got the other tough finale. Muhammad Usman taking on Zach Pauga. Zach Pauga from the... I watched a couple episodes. From the start, he just seemed to be a... I think he was one of the first picks for this guys grouping, and I'm sure Muhammad Usman was as well, but I specifically remember Zach Pauga. He just seemed to be the most refined fighter in the house, more technical, but there's a lot of things to like about Muhammad Usman. He was looking light at like 236 or something like that. I think he's going to come in here and, you know, his nickname's the Motor. I think he's going to have a very similar approach to what his brother had early in the UFC, and he's going to wrestle F his opponent. Zach Pauga is going to be the more technical fighter in this, but I think Usman could be more physically imposing. I think the odds are a little bit skewed in this one. I like, you know, the odds in the Brogden Walker and Juliana Miller fight, they're close, right? And we're going with Brogden Walker on the money line. But in this fight, it's not even close. They think Zach Pauga is going to put him away minus 265 against Muhammad Usman plus 225. Fight props. They don't like this one to go to the distance at minus 150. Like, I don't know. I think you got to sincerely entertain this idea that Muhammad Usman might be the more physically imposing fighter. Neither of these guys has a lot of experience. We saw Brian Battle against Tresean Gore. Brian Battle, the one who was pushing the pace, the one who was making things difficult for Tresean. Like, he looked great in that fight, and I think we might see again the favorite in the Ultimate Fighter finale not show up to the occasion here. I think Muhammad Usman is the Ultimate Fighter. I think he wins. I think he wins this fight. He's got the wrestling. His punches could look really hard. Let's go with Muhammad Usman, the motor. Plus 230 money line. As far as like a safe pick in this fight, man, I don't know if there really is one, to be honest. If I think Muhammad Usman's going to win this, I think he might do it via decision. He's cool with, securing the win. It doesn't necessarily have to be spectacular. He saw his brother do it. You can rattle off like 6 to 8 decision wins, find yourself in the title picture, and then, take advantage of your platform there. In the heavyweight division, there is opportunity there. I was just commenting how fun I think that division is, and then I was looking at it, and there's a pretty big drop off in talent after, like a dozen fighters who are in the division. There's just like this drop off where it's like, I don't even know if they could contend for top 5, let alone a championship. So Muhammad Usman, there's opportunity for both of these guys at heavyweight. I could see Muhammad Usman just because of the wrestling getting there. I don't know if I could see Zach Pauga getting there. Vincent Luque taking on Jeff Neal. Good matchup. Luque obviously is coming off of the loss to Belal Muhammad. Had that prediction wrong. I picked Luque in that fight. I thought it would go similar to the first fight. Belal would, look really good for a while, and then Luque would ultimately, find his shot, find his opportunity in the 5 rounds. But Belal's just, he's gotten so much better than their first fight. Great cardio, great wrestling. Had a really good game plan and performance against Vincent Luque. I think this fight here against Jeff Neal is a little more favorable for Luque. Jeff Neal's got good boxing, but he has been kind of taken pieced apart by good strikers like Magny, Thompson, Holland. So I just think Luque is going to fit that mold of an elite striker that just gives Jeff Neal some issues. Very violent. Vincent Luque is not afraid to throw down. I think it could be a finish, just given who we've got in this fight. Let's dive into the numbers a little bit. Vincent Luque, 11 KO victories, 8 submission victories, only 2 and 6 in decisions. Jeff Neal, 8 KO victories, 2 submission wins. So he's 10 out of his 14 wins have come inside the distance. I'm guessing the odds makers don't like this one to go the distance. -120. I think that's a pretty safe pick, simply because both of these guys are probably capable of putting each other's lights out. Jeff Neal lost a close fight to Santiago Ponzinibbio. Ponzinibbio just looked like oddly the better boxer in that fight. Oh, no, sorry. He won a split decision against Ponzinibbio. I don't know. Ponzinibbio looked really good at parts in that fight. Then he's obviously got the unanimous decision losses to Neil Magny and Stephen Thompson. Prior to that, he was knocking people out. Has a win against Belal Muhammad himself. I think this fight might not go the distance given our 2 fighters here. I think -150 for it to not go the distance is kind of reasonable. Out of Jeff Neal's 4 losses, half, 2 out of 4, have come inside the distance. Luque, 6 out of 8 have gone the distance. So I'm going to roll with Vincent Luque here on the money line prediction. He is the favorite at -190. I kind of like the inside the distance pick at -150 here. Winning method. Oh, shit. I'm under the wrong. Here we go. Vincent Luque. -195 now for Vincent Luque. So -165 for the fight to not go the distance. Is close enough to the -150. I would say I still like it. Winning method. I'm sure the KOs for both of these guys are in play. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'll probably go with Luque in this fight. I do think it is a good fight. I just think Luque is a little bit better. Little bit more creative in the stand-up department, and I think he's going to find his kill shots a little bit easier than Jeff Neal. And he's going to be the winner in this fight. So I'm going to roll with Vincent Luque on the money line and inside the distance at minus 165. I might do that inside the distance bet in my round robin. For some reason, I think that's going to be like the safer pick, but I'm not sure. I think it might be the safer pick. I mean, I think if Luque wins, there's like a 50-50 shot it's inside the distance, and I think if Jeff Neal is going to win, it has to be inside the distance. I don't know. Maybe I've got it confused, but that's how I think it's going to play out. Thiago Santos taking on Jamahal Hill. Why did I call him Jamahal instead of Jamal? How is it pronounced? Jamahal or Jamal? The dude can knock people out. Sweet Dreams is a great nickname. What is that? Euphonics or something sings that song. It's a good song. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with I mean, we all know the Thiago Santos story. He's a great fighter at 205. Had his appearance against John Jones and just hasn't been the same since. Still carries a lot of power and a lot of respect with his opponents, and you can see that in their fights. There's not a whole lot of opponents who are willing to engage, even with the Santos, who's 1-3 in his last 4. But yeah, he's just not the same fighter as he once was. He's taking on Jamal Hill, who in his own right carries a lot of power and is a knockout machine. I'm not sure. It's interesting, the fights Thiago Santos has been in recently, for someone who carries, this respect by everyone, who they just think he's an absolutely powerful fighter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights since his last KO victory, which was against Jan Blachowicz. Fought against Kevin Holland, a decision win. Yeah, I just think Jamal Hill is. I think he's entertaining. I think he's kind of goofy. He had that slip-up loss against Paul Craig. I think that was a very unique circumstance. I like him a lot as a fighter. I think he's capable of winning this fight. Definitely more of the boxer heading into this at minus 320. Hopefully the low kicks aren't an issue from Thiago Santos. But I'm rolling with Jamal Hill in this fight. Minus 320. I'm guessing the odds makers don't like this one to go the distance. Yeah, minus 450. Winning method, I would say the Jamal Hill KO at minus 175, simply because Jamal Hill's been knocking out everyone. Johnny Walker, Jimmy Crute. Johnny Walker, he punched him like in the forehead. That was one of the crazier knockouts I've seen. Just go watch a replay of that. It looks so goofy. But yeah, I mean, he carries some serious power. So if I'm looking at like fights I would potentially include in parlays, I just want to highlight a couple of the things we talked about here at the end of our fight breakdown. Let's see, we said Terence McKinney KO sub. Actually, yeah, no, we'll do KO sub. as a parlay piece. I was gonna say I might in my picks tomorrow. I might do some like a fight parlay in this, like a Terence McKinney and under a round and a half. That's minus 330 instead of minus 400. Yeah, I might do something like that. Just a heads up, but give me a follow on Twitter. Oh, and all my picks are free. I think I'm gonna. I don't know if I'm ever blessed and fortunate to the point where I get to sell picks. That'll be sick. But yeah, I'm gonna say, for now, they're free. Yeah, maybe like these 4 is what I'm thinking. I wouldn't parlay them all together. I'm doing what you shouldn't. Maybe I'd consider throwing in like Luque, Corey McKenna in the parlays. Like, I think these fights and predictions are probably fair game for parlays. That being said, like, don't be placing huge, enormous parlays with plus 475 odds. I'm just saying, these are the fights I kind of like that I would entertain parlays with. I will post some picks either this evening or tomorrow morning. We'll get it done. I am golfing. I'll do them this evening for sure. Then I'll get some bets placed. But yeah, I'm golfing tomorrow morning, playing 18 holes. Looking forward to it. I don't know if I'm playing at 8 o'clock, so I'm gonna get there at like 7:30. I've got this cigar and it's kind of old. I gotta smoke it, so I might bring it with me and smoke that. 8 a.m. in the morning. It's tough to beat. So I'm looking forward to golfing tomorrow. Otherwise, probably gonna just go out to eat. I'm going over to a friend's house, celebrate a birthday party, watch some fights. It'll be a good time. Let's get into Twitter trending topics. SmackDown. Fuck Pete Davidson. Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson have officially called it quits. Good. I see I don't give a fuck about Kim. I see her all over the place, and then you see Pete all over the place with her. Fine. It's whatever. Fuck that guy. Get him off of Twitter. Oh, they've got another show. Yeah, it's like SmackDown, and then there's OP Live. Shayna. Oh, the Prey movie. This looks interesting, and it's Oh, it's on Hulu. Interesting. I am an AMC shareholder, but I might have to check this out. It looks interesting. I don't know what it's about, but I really enjoyed Prometheus, which obviously gave birth to the most recent iteration of the Alien series. And, yeah, it was Alien, and then they did do a Predator movie, I believe, like a Predator versus Alien movie. And I think I saw it. It had like Key in it from Key and Peele, whatever his first name is. But yeah, let's see what happened in PFL. Oh no, Pettis lost. Well, I'm glad I cashed out that bet then. I still walked away with $28, but yeah, Pettis lost. It looks like. And it was on ESPN Plus. maybe go to just ESPN. It's a little easier. Here we go. Yeah, unanimous decision for Stevie Ray. Damn, Anthony. He's like 1-4 since leaving the UFC. It's a little interesting to see. So I picked Wilkinson and Mercier. I was gonna go Omari as well. Just all favorites. And then I was going with the underdog in Pettis, but he loses the unanimous decision win, so it's okay. Still walked away positive. Let's see. Anything else interesting? Twitter trending topics just fucking suck. People react to Senator Chuck Grassley's tweet about missing a family reunion for the second year in a row as a result of Senate's introduction of the Inflation Reduction Act on Saturday. I've got news for everyone. The Federal Reserve is responsible for controlling inflation, right? So the Senate can't do anything about it unless they're prepared to reduce spending. So, I mean, and even then, it's still up to the Federal Reserve to, I mean, they're in charge of monetary policy, right? They watch inflation and they watch unemployment. Those are the two main focuses that they key in on and hone in on. I honestly can't think of a thing that the Senate could do or vote on that would reduce inflation, with the exception of maybe preventing certain price hikes, which would just hurt American industry at that point. Like, seriously, if it's costing you more as a company to produce a certain product and you want to limit the ability for companies to implement price increases, it's just going to hurt their business, and eventually they're going to close. So, I mean, just to be clear, like, the only way to reduce inflation is to raise interest rates and make it more expensive to borrow money. It's just the way it is. I mean, again, the Senate doesn't have anything to do about that. So I don't know how the Senate could be proposing an Inflation Reduction Act when they have nothing to do with inflation. Yeah, I mean, it does come down to just having a responsible fiscal agenda, right? I mean, it's about to say something I shouldn't, but budgeting is important. It's important, you know? So, I mean, while I agree, like, a politician complaining, like, that they have to miss something when they're, like, in term and in office, I think they have substantial breaks throughout their tenure. Like, take your vacations then. I know stuff comes up on occasion, but, like, a family reunion, whatever, bro. Whatever. I started playing Call of Duty again. I just paused on Horizon Zero Dawn. Call of Duty's been kind of fun to play a little bit. It looks like something's trending in there. Let's see what else. Some baseball stuff is trending. Oh my god. Well, we had the trade deadline this week. I was kind of pumped to see the Cubs keep Wilson Contreras, and people are saying that's stupid, but I think if we could wrap him up for a long deal, he's a good leader to have in the clubhouse, and it would be good to keep him. If we lose him, I think we get like a second round pick back. So I guess we couldn't make a deal work that the Cubs felt was worth more than a second round pick, or they valued more than that. So it is what it is. We'll keep him. I hope a team or two falls short because they didn't give us the house for Wilson. I think teams that probably should have traded for him were like the Mets. But we'll see what happens. Senate set to take up legislation on climate, taxes, and healthcare on this Saturday. I think they're trying to raise taxes on anyone making $30,000 or more, which is kind of crazy, right? We always get this notion like Congress and Senate are trying, it's like, oh, the Republicans don't want to tax the rich, and it's like, I think they just want like responsible spending on the back end, so that because the government, the federal government and state governments, they're getting a lot of money from people. They're getting a lot of money, guaranteed money. And if you could just budget a little bit better, you could, our economic situation could be so much healthier. Because like people making $30,000, that's not even full time, and you're qualified for that, and you're getting your taxes raised. Like, I understand inflation's up, but a large part of that's because of the spending that's going on in Washington. So it's like, just get it in check already. It's really annoying. And then you read about these like aid packages that are going overseas, and it's just annoying, right? So just get on top of it, and like the issue probably can never be fixed, right? We're just in this, as a country, the United States, if you live here, you're just in this privileged situation where we're one of the largest consumers. We're the largest consumer on earth, and that buying power just holds a lot of leverage internationally, but at a certain point it's not going to, right? And I wouldn't call the dollar strong compared to precious metals, but because the cost of precious metals has gone up, but the dollar's stronger than the euro and pound and some international coins. But it's just, this burden of responsibility shouldn't continuously fall on the United States. China announces sanctions against Nancy Pelosi following Taiwan. Hey, we'll trade her for Brittany Griner straight up. On Friday, the U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said China will not isolate Taiwan by preventing U.S. officials from visiting the island. Pelosi and a Congress delegation were in Japan on the last stage of their Asia trip, included a stop in Taiwan, the self-ruled island that is claimed by China. A statement from the Chinese Foreign Ministry said the U.S. had disregarded China's concerns around the visit and announced that sanctions would be imposed on the speaker and members of her family. This follows claims by state media that the country had launched its largest ever military drills and in the seas and skies around Taiwan on Thursday. Nancy Pelosi's old ass isn't going over to. There's no way. I want to show you guys something. HKD stock. This stock went public, I believe, on. If this isn't. This seems like institutional and kind of international war against some money here in the US. So basically this stock, let's see the age of it. It went public. Yeah, I can't go 3 months back. It went public, I believe, on July 15th. They've got maybe 53 employees. It's a Chinese ticker symbol. You can see the price ramped up. Where was this? 27.80. I believe it went public, like it was tradable at 12.50 or something like that. It went all the way up to $2,555 this week on 8/2. And now it's just absolutely tanking. It's down to 721. But like, and in after hours, you can see it's down to minus 585. But like, the fact that a country and institutions are allowed to overbuy this stock, create a run like this that doesn't get stopped by brokers, the SEC, anyone, it hits crazy high prices and then gets tanked. Like, anyone who bought here, right, they're losing so much money. So all of these companies that were buying over here, they're the ones selling up here. Whether that's a international government, whether that's a private institution, they're all buying over here, selling over here. So, just kind of bullshit. There were no halts or anything. And then when this occurs domestically with our retail investors like GameStop, AMC, there's fucking halts all the time that get put on, and it's criminal. It's not good. Alex Jones ordered to pay $45 million in punitive damages. What a crazy dude. I don't know why. I remember the first time I heard like someone say like, oh, that shit's staged. Just like, it didn't make sense in my head at all. I think it's just like, it's definitely a reality check, right? If you're in a position of power and you've got a lot of listeners, like you gotta be careful of what you say on your platform. And Alex Jones was definitely wrong for saying like, I think he was saying crisis actors were involved in Sandy Jones or something like that. And you have a choice to be honest or not be honest. And I think if you're not doing everything you can to be honest, and especially if you're in a position of mass communication, you're a scummy person. And that's what I'll say about Alex Jones. That's what I'll say about all media. If you're in a position of mass communication, you have a responsibility to be like, it's a choice you can make. You can either be honest or you don't have to be honest. But when you're like, whatever decision you make, it's going to have big ramifications when you're reaching an audience of 1 million, 2 million, 10 million people. And you just need to be it's not a my truth thing. It's like, you need to be, if you're going to speak on real events, you need to be factually accurate. If you're going to present something, you have a responsibility to know what you're talking about, right? You don't, you just got to be careful. And I think if you can, like, fuck what everyone else is doing, right? If you as a person, if you can just like live more truthfully, sometimes it's the hardest thing to be truthful to yourself. You can be like honest with yourself on a day-to-day basis, and if you can like we all are faced with those situations where like you get asked a question or there's an opportunity to be truthful. You just got to respect that moment and understand like it's more important to be. There's nothing more important you actually right or be true and honest. Again, it's not a bad thing to say like I don't know what I'm talking about or I don't know enough to comment on that. I mean, I'm not informed with everything that's going on in UFC, so I just want to present a product and a service that's like at least honest and respectable and in line with what I'm doing in my Draftkings. What I'm just trying to give sound advice and good advice when it comes to fights. What I don't want to do, and is just like not be good at this and not give great advice to my audience. So I just think that's, obviously this is a fucking crazy ass situation, but there's a lesson to be learned. And if you're not, even if you're not like, I mean, it's pretty outlandish and out there, but there's a lesson in this. And beyond the monetary punishment that he's receiving, it's just like, be honest, be truthful. How do you stay sane while living through a war? I don't know. Extreme heat waves may be our new normal thanks to climate change. I mean, you've got a heat wave. I guess it's just, it's going to be really hot. Like, I know in South United States, we're talking triple digits, and we're going to be hot, I know, in the Chicagoland area, but yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to be the new norm. Not prepared to say that. Russian music banned at Odessa's sandbagged opera house. Great. U.S. declares monkeypox outbreak a public health emergency. I bought a stock that supposedly has the only monkeypox vaccine. I'm sure they're saying like monkeypox or smallpox vaccines are sufficient, but yeah, I mean, I haven't met anyone yet with monkeypox. I feel like on a weekly and daily basis, I'm talking to more people than ever in my lifetime. Just being in sales, dialing the phone 50 plus times a day. Sometimes not talking to anyone, but at least, I'm talking to a lot. The point is, I'm talking to a lot of people. I'm reaching out to a lot of people, having conversations, and just haven't heard anything yet. So, fortunate in that sense, but also, I don't think anyone's interested in this administration just mishandled so many different things about COVID. It's just not reasonable to think you can keep pushing those same policies out for a different type of disease. It's not going to happen. So Moonbirds is some sort of NFT. Yeah, those are okay, but I'm giving away UFC Strike Moment to a subscriber. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of this content. That's what Draymond Green says on his podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of this great content. NASA's Curiosity marks 10 years on Mars. Max bidding, what is that? Max bidding and Pepe made bank off of Bitcoin longs that they have donated some of their earnings to upgrade the oil rigs. Oil rigs no longer in reset. Do the Saudis, do they drill in their ocean? Is that where they're pulling oil from? Or is it from land? Or is it just like all high quality oil over there? I'm not sure, because we, like in the Gulf, obviously, like a lot of those operations have been shut down, but like North American oils definitely, there's more of it. Like there's more natural resources in North America than there are throughout the rest of the world. But the refining process it's got to be it's a little more tricky in North America. You got to do fracking, you got to clean up the oil a bit, whereas the oil that's imported from the Middle East tends to be a lot cleaner, and it costs less money to refine. This is coming from I just understand this. I had a couple parents who worked for British Petroleum for a long time, so I kind of understand some of these things just from years of listening to them and understanding what they have to say. So if oil's cheap, and we know right now oil isn't cheap, if oil's cheap, like it's tough for the US in certain locations to compete because they're spending extra money to refine the oil, right? And the Saudis kind of get to skip that step. But because oil's so expensive right now, there's a lot of companies who could probably turn a really good profit in the North American region, which would increase supply, drop the cost of oil and gas for us at the pump, drop the cost of raw materials for a lot of petro-based products that we used in our economy, and it would just be a win-win all around if we turned it back on. But hashtag max bidding, fuck yeah. Let's not interested. What a freaking mess this world is. Yeah, I think there's an interesting conversation that's to be had about the economy. I think sentiment right now is that, things are bad. And oftentimes, when you perceive things to be bad, like when you understand things are bad, it's a lot of times too late to make moves financially. I want to help everyone out. The charting on Webull is pretty nice. S&P 500. So this is an ETF. It's a collection of, I think, the 500 largest companies that are traded on the New York Stock Exchange. So it's just a collection of these companies, and we're going to go on the 1 year chart. Actually, let's zoom in a little bit more. So you see, like, this is when COVID was a thing, then we plummeted, then we started to, the federal government was purchasing a lot of stock, and we were essentially, increasing money supply at a drastic rate. So you can even see compared to this trend line we were on. Oops, let's trash this. Let's do extended. You can even see compared to this trend line we were on, we started to exceed the growth of that. If I draw another line here, we just kind of started to go parabolic here. And then it was right around, the new year where people started to realize, like, hey, if you don't stop printing money as the federal government to support this post-pandemic market, like, inflation's going to get out of control, which, yeah, stocks would go up in price, but only because the dollar was worth more. So, get rid of these again. Like to see if I could get rid of this. Perfect. So let's now zoom into where we're at now. So let's look historically. I'm going to just put some horizontal lines here. Let's get a little more zoomed in. Okay. This looks like we've got a couple of bounces here, a couple of tests here that it ultimately breaks through. We've got support shown here, right? And all I'm looking for are price points where the market touches and respects it. And then so we're still looking in the past here to the left. Ignore the, like, everything left of the all-time highs. Look here. So we're drawing that line and then maybe another one on the peak side of here. Let's just go to the peak side. The peak side. So now when we focus in on the last year and look where we're at here, you can see, like, there's actually, based on historical pricing, there's actually support points that are drawn. So we've got an all-time high here, right, in the market at 476.44. And we've got some other points that we've hit along here. And you can just see, like, we're approaching this point where historically we bounced off it once, twice, once, twice, and then this third time we broke through. So we bounced off it once, twice, and you can already see it. It's just starting to crest and not have a whole lot of luck. So while the market has looked good for the last month and we bottomed out, I think it was lower than 371. Yeah, 362 we bottomed out at. I think 420 was the mark that I had pointed out, that I just think we're, this melt up we've experienced for the last month, it's going to probably start to come down again. And I don't know where major media outlets started calling it out. I don't think 362 is necessarily the low point that we'll experience, but I think it's more in this, and I think we get into a scary territory when we get below like 325-ish. I think we start to get into a really scary territory. So I think we're probably gonna test this. We're just at a point where it seems like people are undecided in the market if we're gonna go up or down, right? So we're gonna go up and test. We're probably gonna come down. We could potentially bounce off of 400 and go back up to try for a third time. We could potentially go down to lower levels here. I would think just because of what we've seen in the last month, let's say. I would think we're going to come down here, like bounce off of the 400 level and go to retest like 415 to 420. And if it breaks through like 425, we're probably running again as an economy, and like things will look really good. But if we're just going to bounce off of this level again, we're going to start testing for yearly lows again. So we're going to probably drop below 362. That's just my opinion. Not a financial advisor. But just wanted to share my opinions on what's going on. Also, shout out to a couple of wonderful symbols, specifically AMC. Big gainer today. 18.86 today. Looks like it just wants to rip. After hours 0.27. Shout out to AMC. Shout out, they're doing a dividend. So if you have stock before August 15th, you'll be eligible for their dividend. GameStop, another gainer today. So they had their 4-for-1 stock split. So if you had one share here, you own 4 down here. That's all that happened. And actually for the last month, it too, I just want to zoom in, is kind of starting to go parabolic in its own way. So just a couple of good ticker symbols to keep an eye out for. Another Ryan Cohen acquisition was BlackBerry, up almost 33% on the day. Outstanding day from BlackBerry. Sorry, I can't remember the name. I just want to I think it's like a advanced medical device. I gotta look it up here really quickly. So this is the company that is supposedly has the only monkeypox vaccine. APDN. Applied DNA Science. They finished up 1.75 on the day. Yeah, we'll see what happens here, but might be a good opportunity considering the runs we saw from like Moderna. If we go back to 2020, yeah, let's go back to March 2020 when COVID started. Yeah, costed $23 a share. I mean, it got up to 497.5. Now it's trading at 186. Johnson & Johnson, like Moderna for sure went the most crazy, right? Johnson & Johnson had their progress. I think they might have, yeah, they're trading at 171. If we go back to 2020, oh, this is the dip, right? Because this is the dip, and then like maybe vaccine announcements came out around here, so you know, up $30 from where they were since they announced the vaccine. Pfizer. $29? Oh, even lower. $25? You know, in this $25 to $35 category, now it's trading at, you know, almost $50, peaked out at over $60. So I think I just want to point out this company, APDN, you know, We're now at the point where if we're looking at historical prices, there are some resistance points, but historically, it has traded above $100. You know, who knows where it could go to. So I invested a little bit at the beginning of the week in like the $3.50 range. I'm interested to watch this one in the coming months to see where it goes. Could be something really good. So just wanted to point that out. All right, everyone, I'm gonna take off. I've had a lot of whiskey. It's always fun just chatting with you. Cheers. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to the channel. Have a great Friday, everyone.